she likes, what she likes, and she could put it all on you, baby. If you bout that life, because you don't got time to choose it.
Hey tribe, it's Kia from Heritage 93, and we're back at it again with a new nail video. The girls are a little splotchy right now, don't mind them, they're just getting into character. And on the other hand, the girls are completely bare. I wanted to test if the surface texture of the nail plate would make much of a difference. So why not have a shiny coat versus the very bare nail? Spoiler alert, it doesn't make much of a difference. But wait, whoa, what am I talking about? Well, in this video, we're gonna do yet another first here on this channel. And that is to create a mold out of my bare hands. And you're coming with me. Ready to watch creation take form? Let's get started. It's time to make a nail clone. So of course, for starters, we gotta get the goods. And I gotta say, this lid was nearly impossible for me to tear off by myself, but eventually we got it done. Now inside this hand molding kit was step 1, the hand molding powder that calls for 12 cups of water, and step 2, the casting stone that needs a separate 3 cups of water. But wait, there's more. Actually, a few seemingly random things that I will discuss later. You'll also need Play-Doh or silly putty if you're trying to preserve your nail's length like I am, scissors to cut the bags open, a pitcher of cold water, an egg beater to give this mix a thorough whipping, a timer for your peace of mind once you dip your hands in, and of course, a bucket where all of the molding magic happens. I'll leave the link to this exact kit in the description box below. Now first, before I do anything, I want to prep my nails with a Play-Doh support. I just scrape a generous amount and pat it into the undersides of my nails so that I have a little bit more thickness, you know? But it's gotta follow the same C curve as my natural nails. So as you can see, I picked up some Play-Doh from the store, but in hindsight, I'd kind of recommend something a little stronger like silly putty. You'll see what I mean later. Next, I'm pouring in about 12 cups of cool water, but I was super nervous about mixing all of the contents in at once, so instead I mixed it up a little bit at a time. But looking back, I can tell you that it was very unnecessary. In fact, in hindsight, I would have actually dumped all of the powder in first, and then poured in all 12 cups of water in afterwards. Then whipped out the egg beater to get the mix smooth. And I'm saying this because it got super powdery and messy. The directions say to add the contents to the water, but I'm humbly suggesting to add water to the powdery contents, especially if you have an egg beater on standby. Not a big deal, but if you'd like to keep your workspace neat, or you don't want to have to clean up more than you have to, definitely do that. Powder, water, and then whip. But of course, for your viewing pleasure, let's commence the mess. So it didn't look so messy from the first angle, but you know, that's why I got a second angle to show you what it was actually like. Okay, now that we are at the whipping portion of this video, I should also mention that you grab a reusable table cover. I wasn't thinking, I used tissue paper of all things. Yeah, no, definitely grab a table cover. I mean, it looks good now, but you will see later. Moving right along, we're whipping and whipping back and forth, and by this point I was really comfortable. So comfortable that I got too comfortable. Yeah, don't ever lift the egg beater blades too high from the surface of the mix, you know, unless you want pink goop to fly out everywhere. Now eventually, everything starts to blend nicely and you'll be ready to go in for your hand dip. But you might as well get that timer going and have a second person there to help you if you need anything within the next few minutes. In terms of the hand gestures, I knew what hand position I was set on, pun intended, and so I was ready and a little nervous to take the plunge. It was very cold, but I had free motion at first. You definitely have time to get your hands together or make them separate. For me in this hand molding session, I'll be doing 2 separate poses. But whichever way you do this, just make sure that your hands aren't touching the sides of the bucket, the bottom of it, or each other if you're intending on making 2 separate molds. Now, once you stick your hands into your molding mix, know that the color will gradually change from pink to white. Your warm body temperature also helps speed up the process just a smidge, but if you're using colder water like I did, you can anticipate it taking around 20 minutes to set, or whenever the mold goes from very pink to completely white. And I'm not gonna lie, I did freak all the way out once it was time to remove my hands. It's all fun and games until that bucket doesn't want to let go. But eventually the girls broke free, and as you can see, there are these two distinctively separate groups in there. So now we have officially set the mold. So now's a good time to lift off the green Play-Doh from the undersides of my nails before proceeding to step 2, which is to fill in the mold. Let's get it. Now I'll take my 3 cups of cool water and step 2, aka the casting stone. I highly recommend using gloves to thoroughly mix the 2 ingredients since you can feel what you're mixing. Plus this helps prevent lumps from forming. And it's, kind of therapeutic. Now, once you've mixed the water and that casting stone completely, it is time to pour in the casting stone, which will now take the shape of my actual hand mold. Notice that I'm taking my time on this part, right? The last thing we want is for air bubbles to be trapped down in there. At this point, I'm going to fill up the mold to the top of the palm and then grab the bucket and get to tap, tap, tapping. Then I'm going to repeat this process on the other side. Pour in a little liquid casting stone and then tap away. Now, this actually may be a good thing. Initially, I wasn't here for the Play-Doh, but I'm kind of glad I got it and that it was green because once I did all that tapping, little pieces of the Play-Doh made their way from the bottom of the bucket where my fingertips were all the way up to the top. That's a good sign that there are no more air bubbles down there. Now that we're halfway there, I'll continue filling the rest of the mold to the very top with the cast. But when you go to tap this part, which I still recommend, be careful because the cast is at its limits and will likely spill over like it did on me here if you're too aggressive. Now, the cast is finally ready to sit and set into its final form, which would take about 3 hours. In the meantime, I'll just clean up and just sit somewhere myself and chill. Now, once your mold has set completely, this is the part where you'd want to utilize that reusable tablecloth I mentioned earlier. Like, really? Tissue paper and wet molding stuff. But to be fair, I didn't think the mold would be dripping wet still, but that's okay because it fell right out of the bucket and I could start peeling right away. But I really gotta say, it's extremely uncomfortable to peel this stuff back with long or short nails since the mold is solid and not that squishy. It's almost like peeling back the thickest, most stubborn orange of all time. I'm almost positive I heard my nails saying, please stop, this hurts. We're over this, all right? Where's the Play-Doh? Cause we need some backup support down here. But eventually, after all that breaking and peeling, we have finally uncovered the buried treasures. Just have to clean them up a little bit. And I found the perfect tool to file the stone girls back into shape. My nail buffer. Oh my gosh, it's like this video is turning into a nail care routine. Oh my gosh. But to be fair, the stone was surprisingly soft. It's solid, but it's like half as strong as my nails, if that makes sense. So swiping with the buffing block a few times, we'll get it back into shape. For once, the one-way swipe actually works quickly for me. My cross files are shaking. Also, as tempting as it naturally might be, please do not lean your mold against the table as you're peeling it away. I did that and ended up breaking a stone nail. Not the whole finger, just the nail after all that effort. But just like a regular break, we just gotta salvage the nail and glue it back on. See, this was a perfect time for me to use nail glue, but instead I grabbed the heavy-duty Gorilla Glue. This all could have came full circle, but either way, add that glue, wait a bit so it gets nice and tacky, and then glue that nail back like nothing happened. This really is a nail care tutorial. It's kind of cool though. It adds a little character and just became that much more relatable and on brand. Now I'm just gonna go back in with the buffing block to buff and smooth out the rest. So remember when I mentioned a few random things that were included in this kit earlier, like, this orange wooden stick and a safety pin? So there came a time when I was looking for something to clean out the crevices of my cat's fingers. And that's when I deeply understood the secret purpose of those not so random things that were included in this molding kit. Now, before I get into what I currently use these hand pieces for, I figured you might be wondering, okay, but how did she get those nails though? If you're looking for all natural nail care and nail growth inspo, as well as tips and tricks delivered straight to your inbox, I highly recommend you join my exclusive nail care email list, aka the Nailsletter. I made the Nailsletter as a special outlet to help you get into the right frame of mind, to help you grow your natural nails to lengths and strengths that you can be super proud of. Plus, you'll be among the very first to know about the new goodies and rollouts from me. All you have to do is fill out my nail care questionnaire, let me know what your unique nail problems are, your desired length and shape, and then answer a few short questions so I get an idea of how I can service you best. You can find the link to the opt-in survey in the description box below. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed my not so perfect but still teachable hand molding experience and feel a little more comfortable and confident if you've been looking to try this hand molding project out yourself. As for these finished pieces, I use one to hold all of my rings and the other as a display piece on my shelf, showgirl style. But I'm wondering if I should paint them, and if so, what color? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments section below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and engaging. Take care, happy nail growing, and happy hand casting. I'll see you in the next one.